Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with the last video in my Christmas in July series this year. I have created quite a few videos. I've still got loads of ideas for Christmas cards, but they will have to wait now till more towards the end of the year. But this idea today is, well, if you have been watching me for a while, you know that if I think I can create something without buying any dies, then I will try that. And I watched a video yesterday by a lady. She used some gingerbread dies. I also saw the latest release by Spellbinders. They had some chocolate mugs in different characters. So I went onto Amazon and had a look what I could find there, and I was tempted to buy something, but then I thought, no, I can create something with the stuff I already have and just some plain cardstock that will have a similar look. Because my idea is always, if I buy a die that's basically only creating one design, it's a bit of a waste of money. So I think I can create that just like that. I have gone ahead a little bit, and I have cut some embellishments with the dies I do own. I'll show you those in a moment. I'll show you what my plan is for this little candy cane I've got here. But I thought I would like to create this die, which was like a snowman chocolate cup or mug. And it's got a really easy shape, so I thought I can cut that by hand. All it is, I've got a piece of paper here. I will create a 5x6 card, and I've already chosen this as the background. So, and I have got a piece here. This is 5.5 by just over 4 inches. I just cut this from a scrap because I knew I didn't want to have the snowman too big on the card. I wanted a bit of space for the sentiment. And all this is really, you could cut that with paper first and then trace it if you wanted to. It's basically, you need a bit of a rim like that for the cup on the top or the mug. And then it was basically something like this with a bit of a waist. I'm just looking on the side for reference, and then you've got like the belly part and a little bit of a round shape there like that. And it might not look much at the moment. I might mimic that here a little bit, but basically this is all it was, because it was a snowman who had a scarf in the middle, so I can mark that a little bit if I wanted to and maybe rearrange that, but that's all it is. Oh, you might not be able to see that. Well, the camera picks it up. So I'm going to cut that just with my scissors. So if you wanted to, you could cut it with paper, and if you're happy with one side, fold the paper in half and mirror that on the other side, but I'm just going to eyeball this. So I'm happy with that. I made a few adjustments just along the way, but I'll try not to overthink it. And I will probably work on the back, so I don't even bother about erasing those pencil marks. The only thing I haven't prepared for this yet is actually the scarf. What I have done is I have got this die in my stash. This is part of a mandala set, so it's got different circles and flower inserts. And I have cut this in this sort of pink and in white. I'll tell you why I did it in both colours, because I wasn't quite sure. I have also used 2 nesting dies here to create a half an arch, or a little bit over, in both colours. This, by the way, just show you that on the side, that is some scrap paper from the Paper Craft Society Advent Calendar 23. I kept all those pieces because I quite like the cardstock. So, and I wanted to create a handle from this that looks a bit like a candy cane. I cut this one first, so with a pink on the outside and the white underneath. I wasn't quite sure whether I liked it, so I cut the pink solid handle and then the white on top. I'm still not 100% sure which one I like better. I think I will decide that once I have created the rest. I thought what I could do, although no, it's probably a bit too round. I thought maybe I can use some of that as the scarf, but I think that won't work. But anyway, that's what I've got here. All the bits that fell out of here I've got on the side here, and I thought whether they would work as sprinkles if I wanted them. I do actually have dies that cut like a cream, you know, like a dollop of cream on top, but I try to do this without too many dies. So then I've got this candy cane. This is from some Calcott's Paper Craft Society Christmas box, whenever it was. I'm not even sure. It doesn't cut the bits out, it just embosses that. And I tried to colour that in, but I didn't like that. So I thought I'm going to do something on camera. It might not work, but my idea was to place the pink cardstock, and I've already cut strips, onto this before I die cut this. So I've got my removable adhesive, and I'm going to put this here where I need to place the strips. I'm hoping that will come off nicely afterwards. It's basically for me to help me align these strips. They've got shiny and a matte side, so I'm placing the shiny side facing me because I want the matte side on the you know, facing upwards afterwards. So, and I'm placing them now where I've got these strips, because this way I know where they need to go. Otherwise it would be tricky for me to align it. What you could potentially do is cut this out, put the strips on there, and then send it through the die cutting machine again with a die on top. I just do it this way now. So I quickly do this off camera. Then I will put glue on here, and we'll stick some white cardstock on the top, and then I will die cut this, and hopefully then these strips are in place, are embossed, stuck down, and also cut out. Whilst the candy cane is drying here, because I really want this to dry before I die cut this, I want to cut into this white cardstock at the top, because I want to create the illusion that the cocoa or the hot chocolate is actually inside the mug. So I've just drawn a line there, again with a bit of a curve, maybe sort of mimicking this curve, but obviously the other way around, and I'm just going to cut into this. See, I've got enough pressure there. You can do that with your scissors if you want to, but that's okay. Maybe need to cut a little bit more here. So, and then I'm going to erase the line, and I'm going to cut a piece of brown cardstock. Oh, I'll show you that on camera. That I sort of cut out, mimicking this curve here, but have it a little bit slimmer, and I want to feed that through this through the cut here. I am marking the width of my piece. It will be a little bit slimmer than that cut, because usually you can't get quite close to the cut. Yeah, so I'm marking that with my pencil here. Don't need you to have it too deep. And then I will use this here as a template for the curve. So placing that again in between that cut, just about. And that will give me the curve. So I can cut this out now. This is very thin cardstock. I don't want it to be too thick anyway, because I don't want this to show up as bulk behind the card. So maybe a bit more of a curve in these corners. I'll cut that pencil line off as well. Oh, I hope I didn't go off camera there. Let me just zoom out a little bit again. So, and then my idea is that I can feed this through here, just like that. You see I need to go a little bit more on a curve there, and then that looks like it's actually in the mug. Can you see? This is how I like it. So I will just stick this down. I'll probably cut it down a little bit more, and will just stick this down, and I will also cut this now. So this sort of worked. Problem is it's a bit too sticky having that removable glue there, and I think the wet glue actually still oozed out there, and the dye took that bit out of there, so cut that through because I've obviously got another layer. So I will now try the second method. I will lay down these just on the cardstock. I will have to clean this as well, and so it's not that sticky anymore, and then I will die cut this, but this gives me now a pattern where I need to place down these strips. Ignore what I just suggested using this here as a template. I've just die cut this in white, as I said before. We'll glue these across and then place my die on top, exactly on top, try to slot it in if I can, and then die cut it again. I just had a brainwave. I bought this ribbon years ago to create something Christmassy and something with gingerbread. I think I bought this in Germany, so I thought I might actually use that as a scarf. It's not ideal because ideally you would have some sort of curve, but I think I could manipulate it underneath a bit that I would anyway sort of have as a scarf sort of going down. So I'm cutting a piece that is about this width, so I've got a bit of overhang. I'm going to glue it onto the back. So definitely fix on this side, probably a bit at a curve. There we go. And then I think what I will do is I glue it also on this side, and then that gives me enough space or enough ribbon to play with to manipulate this to the shape that I want, because I really want to go down here. No, maybe I'll do this first. So I want to go down a little bit, and I'm just using my removable adhesive. It doesn't matter, it won't come off once it's a stick down, but you could use some other adhesive. And then I'll tell you what I will do then. Now let me just think. I think probably have the curve a little bit over here. I might have to pull it off a little bit when I'm attaching the other pieces. So I'm just manipulating it a little bit here, going up this way, sticking it down in the back. So, and then if I need to, I can pull this up a little bit to put the other ribbon behind, because I don't want this to face the front and the back, or do I? I could do. See, I could place this now behind there and have one piece facing the back, one piece facing the front. I'll probably cut it a little bit longer, and I will also use my lighter to just finish off the edges. I quickly do this off camera. No, I changed my mind and will show you this. So I have used my lighter, just the heat of it, to sort of close off the edges, but the print on it, that will not really shrink, so it does look a bit funny, but it's okay. So I'm folding this now in half, but at a little bit like an angle here, and I'm pressing this down so I know which edge will go on the top. And then I can lift this up here, feed this through underneath, and I can stick this down. Now I'm just using wet glue. You could use some red tape if you wanted to. Problem with red tape and ribbon sometimes is that it does, you know, get sticky all the way through. This one does show, but I'm hoping that it'll dry properly. And then I can stick this down here, pressing that into shape. If you wanted to, you could actually cut this off. I might actually just do that. Take a bit of the bulk out. As you can see, I haven't planned this ahead fully, but this is why I'm showing you what we do when we're crafting. So, and then I can put some glue on here and on here, and can put this down. I tell you what, I'll move it over a little bit so it will hide some of the glue underneath and hopefully dry without too much of a mess. That's the problem with wet glue and ribbon, it does seep through a bit. I think I will leave that a little bit, even if it's got a little bit of dimension. So I still haven't die cut that. I'll do that off camera now, and then I will show you all the little bits I have chosen to decorate. Oh, I will put this onto the card as well. I nearly forgot the handle. Obviously that needs to go down before I stick the mug down onto there. So I'm just putting some glue on the back of my hand, and I'm dipping this in here. I might not need to go as far as I have, but this helps me to put some glue on this delicate die cut or intricate die cut, and then I can get this out of the way and I can stick this on here. It won't align perfectly because the nesting dies don't have quite the same shape, but it's good enough. And then I can see how much I actually need to cut off. I'll actually eyeball this here so I can stick this, cut this here, and then that can go behind here. I might actually, I'm just thinking whether I want to have the mug on some foam pads. I'm also keeping my eye on the time because I got a bit carried away here, and I should actually be cooking my dinner to go to work after. See, because I've got a bit of dimension now with a handle, I might consider putting this on foam pads, and I just managed to get a stain on here from something. It looks pink, so maybe one of the maybe the paper came off, I don't know. We'll have to put an embellishment on there. So I will do this off camera. This worked, by the way. I was a bit off center when I realigned it, so the candy cane is a bit slimmer here. I just cut it straight with my scissors, but this method did work. So I think I will just stick this down now quickly off camera, do my embellishments. I have found different leaves, and I've got a cone here, and I think this is a little bit like a poppy seed. I have cut little gingerbread men in craft cardstock, but also in pink, because what I saw online was like a pale, you know, like a mint, or yeah, like a pale green and some pink in combination, and I really like that. I've also got little poinsettias, so I will decorate this. I have also cut little eyes for the snowman. I haven't cut a mouth yet. I'll have to have a think, and I'll have to check my original picture what kind of mouth it would have. I probably would just cut this by hand, and then I will stick this all down with my wet glue on this. If you don't have anything like that, don't forget you can use embossing folders on your mirror cardstock. I would have done that if I didn't have that. Oh, and I just want to show you this. I used this sort of plant die to cut little hands out of brown cardstock, so they will go on the side here. And yeah, I'll quickly do this off camera, make sure I've put my dinner on, and then I'll be back to show you the finished card. My card is almost finished, but I thought I record the outro now, and then we'll show a snippet at the end of the video, because I want to do something here, and I also want to add a sentiment, I think. But I just want to talk you through what I have done. When you put in the handle, keep in mind the width of the card. I nearly forgot that. I also forgot the nose or the carrot, so I just cut this shape, and I used my stylus here to just emboss little lines just from the top there. the camera picks her up, to give it this sort of carrot look. I went for round eyes in the end, and I put a little bit of white Posca pen on there, but I used the oval to just cut this little mouth from it, and I think that works really nicely. And I used the same little oval die to cut these two cheeks. Then that was an afterthought. I suggest you don't glue the cocoa down yet on the inside, because then you can feed things through. I could only just fit that in there. So if you wanted like the little gingerbread man in the mug as well, don't stick this down yet until you stick it on the card. I've added the flowers there, just 3 layers, and that I will also find a bead there for the middle, I think, like a half bead. And the stain I had on this side, I just covered it with a heart, so it looks like he's holding a heart there. But I think, yeah, and I didn't want to waste these. These are still drying. They might not stick down because I'm using my Barely Art glue on the foil, but I'll see how that works. So, but I didn't want to waste them, so I put them down at the bottom. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. It's a little sort of, you know, experiment, but as I always say, you don't need to buy all the dies. How many snowman mug cards will you actually create? So if you've got something in your stash and you can create something similar, that's even more creative because you made it yourself. I think that is even a nice idea, and I hope you like this idea and you like my sort of tutorial. As I said, I'm just throwing ideas at you to show you what you can do. Yeah, if you like this, you might want to give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video, and just stay tuned now for the final version of the card. As promised, I'm popping in with the final version of my card. I made some changes to this cardstock. I just used my Spectrum Noir shimmer pen to put some shimmer onto the white cardstock. In hindsight, maybe I should have used some pearlescent white cardstock. That would have been nice as well. But I added all the embellishments, put a half bead on here, and I found the snowflake beads as well, or embellishments. I thought they worked really nicely. And I added this German sentiment there, mainly because all my British Christmas sentiment dies were actually a little bit too big. So I think that's all I needed to show you. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I think it's quite cute, and yeah, it saved me from having to buy the dies that I saw on the internet.